What's going on, guys? So I just came back from Southern Illinois. I was getting my hand worked on, my armpit, my ribs, so I'm really sore, kind of crispy and crunchy, and not really wanting to do a ton, but I figure why not do a little video. It happens to be a very windy day in the rural in Illinois, so 40-mile-an-hour gusts, 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and this is a day that this guy, Mr. Neo, does not really enjoy. But this video isn't going to be just about the winds and the Neo. It's going to be about the 5 pros and 5 cons that I think make this drone really darn good and maybe not so ideal. So without further ado, let's talk about the pros. So it's only $200. This thing is an easy purchase, basically a no-regret purchase. No matter what happens, even if you don't use it that often, it's $200. It's not going to break the bank, and that's a massive thing, because a lot of times if you have a $1,500 purchase, a drone, I have my Autel Lite Plus, or sometimes I'll have a drone like that, just doing nothing. I haven't flown it in, say, 6-7 months, and you wonder why you have it, and it just kind of ages and sits, and there's that. So this thing, $200, not that big of a deal if it sits, but the reality is it probably won't, because it's a ton of fun. So that's number 5. 4, it's a really stress-free drone. So this thing is fun. As I said, that's a huge part of this experience with Mr. Neo, and it's stress-free. It's small, it's light, it's inexpensive. If it crashes, not that big of a deal. Most likely if it crashes, it's going to be all right, because it can handle crashes pretty darn well. And that's a huge positive too, in my opinion. So $200, inexpensive, stress-free, also a really big positive. Now, number 3 would be it's safe to fly close to people or pets or really anything, because you have the built-in prop guards, and it's lightweight, and it's not going to hurt anyone. So that really gives you a whole new way and possibility to get creative, because you're not going to injure yourself cutting yourself. Like when I was getting tattooed, I was playing around, and my friend kind of challenged me to fly my drone while I was getting my ribs done, which is hard because it really hurts when you get your ribs done. If anyone knows, they know. And I wasn't worried about flying it through my arms, because I knew, worst case scenario, it wasn't going to lacerate me, it wasn't going to hurt me, it wasn't going to hurt, my tattoo artist friend Guy or anything. So it's a really cool way of opening up new possibilities and new shots and new footage, because it's lightweight, it's safe, got built-in prop guards, and there's that. Now, number 2 would be it can fly through really small gaps. Kind of the same thing. You can fly through, my arms. You can fly through a really small little opening in a tree. You can fly through little openings in a park. I was flying for a park district job, and I was using this just to get some creative B-roll to add into my edit. So even if this can get you 1 or 2 really creative shots that you didn't want to get or couldn't get with a Mavic 3 or some bigger prop drone with no guards on it, that's a huge positive. So yes, flying through small gaps is a huge part of what makes this thing super fun and enjoyable to fly. So the size, really small, really tiny, and it can fly through things that you just really wouldn't be able to do with many other drones. Yes, if you're a CineWhoop FPV person, which I'm not, that obviously is not probably super foreign to you, but for DJI, the Mini 4 Pro probably is one of the smaller drones other than the Avatas, which is an FPV drone. So really, we only have something like that. So this is a really nice introduction to being able to do that without being FPV. And number 1, the most coolest thing about this drone is it makes you smile because it's fun. The fun factor is huge and number 1 with this drone. So yes, it's tiny, it's inexpensive, it's stress-free, you can fly close to people, pets, whatever, and that really makes it super enjoyable and fun to fly. So every time I fly this thing, it gives you some kind of enjoyment, and it does make you smile. So number 1, makes you smile, and it's fun, and fun factor is off the charts. The only time it's not off the charts with this is when it's windy. So let's go ahead and get to the cons. I'm just basically saying things that I think that are top 5 that aren't ideal with this drone that can be improved upon ideally in the future and upcoming releases of this model. So the one-axis gimbal paired with high winds makes it almost impossible to get a shot that's worth the you-know-what. So there's that. I would say 4 would be no raw still images. So there's no raw still image. Ideally, they can come up with something in a firmware update. So there's that. Number 3, I would say no 4K 60. So it would be nice to have 4K 60 to be able to have the resolution and the ability to slow it down in post, to have a little bit more smoother cinematic movements, especially since this thing has the one-axis gimbal on it. And I would say another one is there's no zoom capability on this drone. So no zoom limits you with being able to get a shot that you may be able to get with, say, a Mini 4 Pro or something like that. So that's going to be another one. And the top negative for this drone is the inability to handle in the winds. So that paired with the one-axis gimbal, it being so small and lightweight, just really makes it almost impossible to use on a day like today. And I'll show you really quickly how horribly it will do on a 40-mile-an-hour gusting day. But those are kind of the things that I think you have to take into consideration. Yes, it's a great beginner drone because it gives you the full experience and the full capability of getting nice shots. Like the other day, I put together a little edit. I can put it in the little end video so you can see. But this was for a car wash, and I was able to show the owner a little footage with ease without any pressure of having a big drone in the air. And I hooked up a nice client and met a new person, and that will result in, you know, a bunch of income coming my way with just the use of using this drone. So very capable, and you can make money with it, but so very capable, and you can make money with it and utilize it in a professional manner for little things like that, for getting quick little B-roll shots. I would personally not shoot in 1080. That's me. I get it as 1080 60 frame per second, so you can slow that footage down. But personally, I think the footage that looks best out of this drone is when you shoot 4K 30 frames per second. Yes, it's limited. It's not 4K 60, but the resolution to me trumps the actual 60 frame per second with the 1080. So there's that. And I guess what we can do, just for kicks and shits and giggles, so to speak, we can go ahead and launch this. I can show you. Here, let's see. So this is UV8 forecast. Right now it's showing 2139. Can you see that? So 2139 mile an hour gusts. It was actually higher a little bit ago. But let's go ahead and launch it just for kicks and just to show you how limiting it is on a day like this. So that's really its main weakness, is the inability to get footage on a windy day. It's almost impossible to get anything. Maybe you can get a still picture or something, but I would not risk flying this drone on a day like today for the norm. You can get filters for the drone, just so you know. These are these little Sunny Fire filters. Personally, I'm not totally sold, even though, yes, it's raising, or it's lowering the frame rate, I mean, to a more, you know, appropriate frame rate. I don't know. I feel like it does relatively well no matter what, just using no filter and getting what you get out of this drone. Rather than kind of focusing on this, I think it's more important to just focus on getting a smooth shot based on conditions and all the variables that will kind of work in this drone's favor. So without further ado, let's just get it in the air and see, for one example, if we can actually get one shot, and that will kind of show a real life example of this drone in really high winds and a real life situation of whether or not this can work on a day like this. Now, Mini 4 Pro could get a shot on a day like this. Basically, any other drone could for the most part. So the Neo is, here, let's just get this in the air really quickly. It's not really about how it can handle in high winds, but I figure it is a really windy day, and it's a good example of showing people its limitations for what I'm talking about. Really high winds and the one-axis gimbal is really a bad combo for making this thing great for getting anything that's quality. So we'll go ahead and launch it. Now, mind you, before I get this in the air, it is an extremely windy day. So I get that. We can't expect much from many drones, let alone a small little tiny drone like the Neo. But even if it is 25-mile-an-hour gusts or something, this is probably going to give the same type of results because it just does not do well with the one-axis gimbal and the lightweight and the way it handles in the wind. So yes, it's an extreme day wind-wise, but at the same time, it will kind of give you an idea on how limiting this drone is. Let me go ahead and get this thing paired. We see the drone is in the air. It's getting blown all over. Strong wind warning, unable to return home automatically. So automatically with this drone or any drone, you gotta be very mindful of watching it and knowing where it's at. And we'll just try to get one little smooth shot and see if it's even possible with the drone. So you can see the flag. You can see it getting blown all over. I'm off the sticks and it's cruising around a little bit. But I'll try to just get a little shot, a little orbit. Yeah, I mean, it could be worse, but obviously it could be better too. I'm in normal mode. And I'm just going to kind of cruise towards the flag, try to get something smooth. And as you see, there's basically no... Whoa, whoa! That thing just got tanked. So now I got to look for the drone. That really sucks. So this thing basically got blown into a tree, and now I got to go retrieve it somehow. So I don't know where it's at. I got to go into safety. Crap. Find my drone. I don't even know where it is. I never am really great at using this feature. Am I the arrow? So there's the flagpole. Oh, it must be over here. Let's see what happens. So this is an example of why you don't fly a Neo on a really windy day, because it will end up in a tree. Let me see where it went. It's a perfect resting place, the cemetery. Okay. I found Mr. Neo. Uh-oh. So, I don't know. Woo, it's really windy. Okay. So, this probably was not a good idea to fly the Neo on a day this gnarly. I guess I didn't realize how gusty these winds truly are. But anyway, maybe we'll end off on that note. I'm hoping this will fly another day. Woo! And that's that. So I hope this helps. A little real life example of why you do not fly the Neo on a really windy day, because most likely it's just going to get blown to smithereens, and there's that. But regardless, on any other day, Neo is a super killer little drone, And I would say 100% buy one. You won't regret it. That's on my pro positive list. And there's that. We'll hope that this thing does not need to get sent off the DJI. But regardless, even if it does, it's inexpensive. So hope this helps, guys. See ya. Bye.